That's going to be fun to hear later on. Anyway, we are back, and we're going to be doing another podcast. It is Nick and...
Mike.
And Travis.
Boom. We nailed it that time.
Perfect,
Just
guys.
like every other time, though. So, our topic today is going to be on the topic of remakes, our video game remakes. Or, honestly, just remakes of games in general. And I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. I'm going to say my opening question and response to it. So I'm going to be interviewing myself, so boom, what do you think of that? Anyway.
Is that the question you're asking yourself?
If only. So my question that I was going to ask to you guys is, what do you think about the modern day trend of making a ton of remakes to games? And I'm just going to say it sucks, because I want other games to be made. All right, go.
Sonic Mania.
That's not a remake. Screw you, Travis. I'm going to punch you through this computer screen.
It might as well be a remake.
Oh,
you never played it, so you don't know. You don't know, man.
Shots fired right off the bat.
Anyway.
But no, so anyway, I was going to say, sorry. What I really meant to say was I don't like the fact that they're remaking a ton of games, but I do still like the fact that they're doing it to try to make it accessible for multiple platforms, because some of the platforms are dying. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
I mean, you know.
And SNES isn't going to last forever, at least. I kind of hope it would, but I don't think it's going to last forever.
Well, that's the thing is, like, what's the point of remakes? Like, it depends, I guess, what you mean by remakes. Like, the SNES Classic to me I guess it's a remake, but to me it's not really a remake. It's more of this is going to sound dumb, but it's a re-release. And re-releases I'm all for, because there are games that are otherwise inaccessible. SNESs are not compatible with most TVs these days. So if you have a modern TV, you can't even play a SNES game. So like Virtual Console and stuff, to me is not a remake, it's a re-release. And so that is different. It's like remaking Last of Us HD a year later, which is what they did. They released Last of Us at the end of PS3 and then again for PS4. To me, that's a waste, because you're taking up space or things like that. Some remakes I like. I feel like there are way too many of them. I feel like they're remaking games that don't need remakes. But for the most part, I like them as long as they're not consuming time. But the only reason I like them is because, like you said, you can play them on different consoles. So like if you didn't own a previous console, now all of a sudden you can play the game on both consoles.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where I was psyched when the Wii came out with Virtual Console, and I saw, Paper Mario, gotta have it on Wii Virtual Console. I didn't think about it, just punched in the code from the Wii Shop channel, and I got it. And then I immediately looked at the cartridge and went, "Why did I do this?"
I feel that.
So it was just like, what was really the point? I'm definitely with you. I'm definitely there for re-releases of games and to try to basically make it accessible to everybody. But when I see that Nintendo they made Wind Waker to Wind Waker or they made Ocarina of Time 3D, they made Majora's Mask 3D, then they made Wind Waker HD, and then Twilight Princess HD. And yeah, I understand people are more about like graphics and whatnot. I mean, maybe not a specific group of people, but literally Twilight Princess could have been played up to the Wii U. Mm-hmm. So I don't even get why they made that. Maybe it was easy for them to do so, but I was like, I kind of think in my mind, I think that's a stupid move. They probably made a decent amount of money on it, but it's something that I never would have went out of my way to get.
Right. Well, I don't get why that game wasn't remade for the Switch. I mean, obviously it couldn't have been now, but
actually,
it would have made more sense, because like you said, you can play Twilight Princess on a Wii U. It's a Wii game. You just put it in and it works. So, I don't get the point of that. An HD remake for that, I think, would have been better suited for the Switch, because you can't play Wii or Nintendo games at all on it. So then it's on a system where it normally couldn't be played on. So I agree with that.
Yeah. So just to be sure, re-release is good. Re-release is good, but just like remakes just for the sake of making more money off of an already made game. Maybe it's easier on them, and they just want to make a quick buck, which is fine. But I just do not like that.
No, yeah, definitely.
What do you think, Travis? How about your some of remade games that you loved?
I'm honestly conflicted, because like I do definitely think that it's like the lazy way out of just throwing it back out there just to make some money, even though like they did literally nothing but maybe enhance some graphics. But that being said, I very much enjoyed playing the Crash Bandicoot remake, because like it did 1, 2, and 3 all in the same game, which I played some of the Crash Bandicoots as a kid, and I really, really enjoyed them. So, like, it was nice because it made it much smoother because, let's be serious, PS2 and, you know, before were pretty janky when it came to 3D platformer type things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was fairly new around that time.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, obviously they still had the kinks to do, so it was, like, really nice to be able to, like, smoothly run through the game, even though there were parts that didn't seem so smooth, but that was just because I sucked. So, like, I definitely agree that, like, I don't want it to be, like, this trend where everything is being remade, but, like, if it gives that franchise, like, a reboot, and then now they can actually make their own game again, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the main issues that I'm seeing too is the fact is what they do after that. Let's say like they make one of the games HD. What they do afterwards, whether their path is still making games afterwards, or like Travis said, maybe giving them a reboot to the system or to the game franchises that they're doing, like that they're trying to tribute. So like with Crash, I don't know. Maybe they'll. I'll be honest. If a new Crash game was made nowadays, I don't think it would be as good. I think it would be a good one to go try out and play, but I don't think it would do nearly as good sales-wise. But since they're paying tribute to that series, and they might possibly release a new game, or maybe that game would more people will actually know of the game's influence nowadays. I think that's better to do. But if you make if you remake the game in HD just to make a quick buck, I think that's where it starts to be like, okay, that remake I don't really think is sending the right message of what you're trying to, or maybe it might send a message of what they're trying to do, but I don't think that's a good message to send up. We just want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, I will say, and because that brings me to the other point too, with Crash Bandicoot, to kind of change it a little bit. It's also how long it's been since the game's been released. Because the thing about Crash Bandicoot is those games came out like about 20 years ago. And so that's like re-bringing up a classic. And to me, that's different. Like if Nintendo on the Switch released like a set of old classic Nintendo games, which is kind of what the SNES Classic is, well, that's different too, because now all of a sudden you're getting like a collection of classic games. You know, it's like you talked about, Travis, with like the Sly Cooper one and how that's something that you like to have. Or I know like Ratchet and Clank had it and God of War's had it. So if you're re-releasing games but you're putting it on like a collection like that, I can also accept it because you're playing like classics. You get all of the classics on one disc. I think that's another good way to do a re-release too.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree with that. One of the big things
I definitely like the Kingdom Hearts in that like you get the multiple games in that remix game. Right? I forget how many are that like there are.
You get a lot.
Especially the portable ones, because I'm like, I have a PSP, but it's completely dead. And I don't feel like going out and buying another thing for it. So if I just got a PS4 and I got the remixes, I don't have to worry about any of that.
Well, that's what's cool about it, because like you have the Game Boy game and you have the PSP game, but now you can just play it on your PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And so that's what I think is cool about the Kingdom Hearts ones especially, because they come with, I want to say 3 are games, then 1 is like a movie. So, but the PS4 one, they had the 1.5 and 2.5 together. So that's like 8 games on one disc. So that to me is a good deal.
Yeah, it had the 2 cinematics of, I believe it was 358 over 2 days, and coded or recoded. And then it also came with Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Birth by Sleep, and Chain of Memories.
Yeah, so it had a lot of those. So like that is a re-release I can absolutely accept, because for the price of one game, you're getting 4 HD remakes. So that to me is a good way to do it, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Like that's probably one of the best ways to do it. And it's also saying that like, and honestly, I think another reason why people, which is another point that I was going to make, another reason why these companies are making remakes of the game is to kind of hold you over. Because how long have we been talking about Kingdom Hearts 3?
Well, that is true.
Freaking time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you can, quote unquote, calm the masses for a little while by maybe remastering one of the games and basically stalling for time, which honestly, now that I think about it, that's basically what Nintendo did with a lot of these HD remakes before they came out with Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild was a huge project for them. Oh yeah, I hear it's amazing. I still need to play it, but anyway, yeah. So I think that's another reason why they're making these remakes. And when you do it for that, I can kind of understand it. But after a while, it seems just like you need to be able to space it out where it's like, just give them a concrete thing to play if they really want to.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's kind of hard to do in big game franchises like that, like Zelda, like Kingdom Hearts and whatnot. But you still gotta try. You still gotta give them something.
Yeah. Well, here, I got a question for you guys here. So,
Okay.
with remakes, do you think it's a bad thing if they drastically change how the game works? Because this is kind of topical, is that they're working on, as I'm sure you guys know, because I've talked about it before, they're working on a Final Fantasy VII HD remake, but they're completely changing the combat of the game. So before it was turn-based, but now they're making it an action game.
15 style?
Exactly, yeah. They're making it more like the action style. So it's Final Fantasy VII story, but it's nothing like Final Fantasy VII. So it's a remake, but it's completely different from the original game. So do you guys think that's a good idea?
I can't say that you should call it a... Go ahead, Travis. I'll say it in a second.
Because, like, it's kind of cool to, like, see the different playing, but, like, if I was a fan of Final Fantasy VII, like, you know, a lot of people, I think it would piss me off because I'm like, this is, like, my game. Because, like, this is taking what Nick feels like Paper Mario just went off the path and just, like, literally just obliterating that to a point where they're like, yeah, we've destroyed this game. But let me tell you, like, story's still there.
Travis, like, the way that I can like relate it is Paper Mario for me into what it is nowadays is a minor bump in the road. This is a semi flipping over a bridge.
Exactly.
For Final Fantasy. Like, it's bad. Like, my Paper Mario arguments don't even come close to probably what the Final Fantasy VII thing is. I would immediately say Sorry, go ahead.
Like, Nick, how pissed off would you be if they remade Paper Mario with the card system and also no buddies?
Dude, that would be crazy.
Travis.
Like, it would drive you insane. And that's what I feel like so many of the fans of Final Fantasy will do, because, like, I don't think they'll really buy it. Maybe the people who just started the 15 will get it, like Pat, and he'll probably really, really like it.
Yeah.
For the modern gamer, I would say it makes sense, but honestly, if they're calling it a remake, a Final Fantasy VII remake, I would say that's just a dumb decision to do. I can understand, again, I completely understand why they're going that route and why they want to do it, but if it's a remake of Final Fantasy and it doesn't have the active time battle system, I don't understand how you can call them the same. Because again, even from Paper Mario games, there's a kind of a clear, like, there's still action commands, there's still, like, remnants of the same thing, and you know what, there's still the turn-based battle mechanics.
Right.
None of it's the same with the battle mechanics for the Final Fantasy VII remake. Maybe the graphics look better, but I definitely wouldn't say that it's a good idea to go with, but I can see why they're doing it.
Yeah,
because in their mind, they're trying to move past it and modernize.
Yeah, because it depends, you know, who are you making the remake for? Are you trying to, like, bring back a classic for your old fans? Or are you trying to, like, remake an old game for newer fans, you know? And it's clear that Final Fantasy and Square Enix are not focusing on their old fans. They're trying to bring back a classic for new fans, you know?
Yeah. And they kind of want them to, I'm sure they kind of want them to get interested in those older games, but I don't think it's going to do it justice. Because when you play the remakes of games, you hear so many people say, I'm absolutely okay with playing the game with HD graphics, everything else being the same, like glitches and all. Like, but everybody tries to fix it and try to make it better. So you can take, for example, so the company that made Ocarina of Time 3D was a company called Grezzo. And Grezzo, when they made the game, did a lot of really weird things. If you saw a speedrun of it, there is a guy who showed a glitch where he voided out 12 times in a row, I believe, fell into the title screen, kind of reset his system, and opened up the game with every item. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense at all to me. But, like, they make so many changes where it's like, oh, we're going to fix all these glitches. And honestly, I don't think people really care. Because the people who you're trying to get for these remakes are the people who played it in the first place.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think that should be your first audience that you're concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Square Enix agrees, but I think that should be your first audience. And if you satisfy them, then maybe go a little farther and try to incorporate something new. But I don't really think they care.
I don't think it's all about the money. You know, which audience is going to get you more money is the question. So.
Well, you saw the development for if you looked at the development for Final Fantasy 15, like these people are basically living creating this game, and the director, I believe, stepped down from Final Fantasy 15 and basically said, whoever's going to be the director of Final Fantasy 16, be ready to dedicate your life to this. It's like, okay, so what I heard is that I don't know where I heard this. I was watching some podcast, but they had family days where the people could actually come into the office. They didn't leave the office, but the families could come in and see the projects that they're working on.
Yeah.
Like they're basically like working them to the bone there.
Hey, you know, and it shows though. The worlds and like the way those game works, they are like expansive as heck. It is incredible. So I can see that.
Yeah. So immediately to answer your question, Mike, I would say no. I don't like that they're doing that. I think if it's a Final Fantasy remake, it should have the active time battle system. 3 people in your party, whatever. I don't think it's gonna happen that way, and so we'll see the reviews because I don't know. Modern game audiences is not something it's not my specialty. Mm-hmm. I guess I'll say that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't always say my opinion, but obviously I agree with that. I think if you want to keep the newer battle system, make Final Fantasy 16. But if you're gonna bring back a classic, do it the right way. That's all I want.
Yeah, and one of the big things too was Final Fantasy was their transition into 3D. It's basically like remaking Super Mario DS, which actually we can mention this: Super Mario 64 to Super Mario DS. I think that did it right. Adding a couple extra secret stars, having a couple more characters to play, keeping it true to what the game was, and that was really it. They really didn't do much else. And they really didn't need to. Because they knew that the people who played Super Mario 64 and had a DS would love to play it on there, so they can take it on the go. That's all you really need. I don't know. Maybe that's just what I think, but I don't think you need much in a remake for it to be successful. You don't need to have all these crazy advancements. You see these people who are talking about, like, I don't know, maybe this is a little too specific in the fighting game community, but you hear people always complaining about Melee HD, how they just want the graphics updated. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But yeah, that's just what I think. I hope for the best. But I don't think that... I think people always try to do too much with remakes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, like you said, Super Mario 64 did it the best. They kept it sweet and simple. They added a couple extra things to make it worth buying a remake. And that's kind of what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did, I guess, too, is they added the battle mode, but they kept it the same. I do think that game problem was that it came out way too soon,
Yeah, it came out recent.
Pretty much immediately after. That probably should have been Mario Kart 9. I don't get why they had to make an HD remake of a Mario Kart game. But it's the little things like that. If you're making a remake, just add a couple extra things, but keep it mostly the same, and you're good.
Yeah, it's not a hard recipe to follow.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Travis, you got any closing thoughts? Sorry, we kind of took over for a little bit. Sorry, buddy.
That's okay. I mean, it's what usually happens. But you guys also study and research a lot more, so it's better that you two have the wheel.
Travis, you're person. You're a fat person eating rocks person. Come on.
Exactly.
That's
I'm the
true.
fat person who eats rocks. Like
you're the comic relief.
I'm colorful. Exactly. I'm colorful commentary. You guys are black and white. You guys can fight over which one you are.
We're the yin and the yang. Come on, buddy.
Yeah, that's a little less racist.
That's true.
No comment. It would be racist if one of you guys were actually black.
Nick.
Okay, yellow and white.
All right, Nick's coming out.
Black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, so basically...
As a yellow, that's racist stuff.
I'm sorry. Brack and railroad. Does that make you feel better?
Absolutely. Thank you, Travis. Thank you for using the accent.
Hajime is here for you.
Aww.
Well, either way.
Anywho, good remakes equals close to what the game was, because like, honestly, it's been so long since I played a Crash game that, like, it felt like a normal Crash game to me. So whether or not they truly strayed away from the original game designs, I don't really remember, but it definitely felt real to me. And then, like you guys were saying with the 64, it was like a good, like, 64 feeling. So you're, you know, that's what a remake should do. It should be the same experience.
Exactly.
And obviously you can add a little thing like after game stuff or like secret stars because they're not needed. So if you don't feel like doing the new crap, you don't have to.
Exactly.
But when you try to like remake like the game and then be like, okay, no, I didn't like this part of the game, so let's change this part. Like, you just go into a whole thing of like, yeah, sure, maybe that part sucks, but you're like, oh, the water temple. I don't want to deal with the water temple right now. But you still got through it, and you know, it's part of the experience.
Right.
Because Shadow Link can die.
He can.
Dude, all you need
I've
to
been
do is
told
use
he
the
can.
Megaton hammer. Dude, all you gotta use is use the Megaton hammer, I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
I know, but what if I want to do the water temple before the fire temple? You can.
Ooh. Yo, next podcast. Water temple before the fire temple?
Oh god, no. Don't do it. You don't want the Megaton hammer. Otherwise, that battle is hell. And I know, because I tried it, because I'm like, I don't feel like cheesing it. Like, Aaron was just being stupid when I watched the Game Grumps do it. No. Cheese. All cheese.
I feel
all
that.
kinds of cheese. Throw it all in there. It needs to happen, because otherwise it's freaking impossible.
It's nuts.
Blocks
Anyway.
freaking everything.
We're gonna end it at that. Again, let us know what you think about game remakes and what you think about, I don't know, tell us what you think about Travis's hair, because it is fabulous. Anyway, we're gonna be leaving it at that. Leave comments for us, please. We like reading them. Even if it's something as simple as Mike looked good today. I don't know.
Aw.
Just like tell us something. I like comments.
Nick, you look
Yeah.
decent too.
Thank you, buddy. I didn't try today.
That's why you're just decent.
Let us also know your comments on game remakes and whether they're overdone or underdone. What do you think? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.